Okay, so rotation. So this is our third transformation. So rotation. What happens when things rotate? They turn around. Okay, so they spin. Hello? Yes, and so when we're rotating in math, we're rotating about a certain point. And when I say about, I mean that's our linchpin. Now, so if you're asked to rotate a shape, you will be told what the shape is, so they'll draw a picture of it. They will tell you which angle it's going to move, so maybe 90 degrees or 180 degrees or 270 degrees. And they will normally tell you whether that's clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay? Now, so here we go. We need to be told the angle of rotation. And I'm going to say and direction. Now, down below, oh Lord, wow. Okay, so when I say and direction, I mean anti-clockwise or clockwise. Now, I've said here, if the angle of rotation is positive, then we're rotating anti-clockwise. I'm going to put that part in brackets, because let's assume that we're going to use the words clockwise and anti-clockwise. So you don't have to worry too much about it. So as long as you've got that additional explanation in there, you don't need to worry. So we're told the angle, and we're told where the centre of rotation is. Now, we've had some practice with this, but plotting points, plotting coordinates is important when it comes to rotations as well. Now, you will have noticed for all of these transformations it's been important, hasn't it? Because sometimes they've asked you to draw the shapes, you have to know how to plot points. So it's really important that you know how to plot coordinates. Now, the centre of rotation is important and can alter the image of the figure by using different centres. Now, let's rotate the shape. So we're going to learn how to rotate this. So, with rotations, in an exam and in a test, you can put your hand up and ask for a piece of tracing paper. You're not allowed to take tracing paper in with you. And you may not need it. Now, don't go tracing anything just yet. And you may not need it, but if you think you need it, it will be available to you. Okay? Now, we're going to use this tracing paper economically, which means that we're not going to trace something smack bang in the middle, and means that we can't use it any other time. Okay? So, we're going to trace. What I'd like you to do is place your tracing paper over the shape.
You need a ruler for it?
No, you don't need a ruler. No, hang on, before you trace it. I'd like you to cover the shape up, but cover it so that you can also cover the centres of rotation. Okay? So what I mean by that is I want you to have your tracing paper looking something like that, so that you can trace the shape and the centres of rotation. Do you see?
What's the centre of rotation?
Now, the centre of rotation, I've got two different ones here. I've got a red cross and a blue cross. You're going to have to use both of them at some point. Okay? So let's do the blue one first. So trace the shape and the blue cross for me. Just the cross, just this blue cross.
Instead of tracing the whole shape, can you trace the 3 dots on the shape, like the 3 corners?
It's up to you.
Okay,
Sure.
Say like that.
Move it forward. We're not going to pick it up.
Oh, I see how this works. They can flip it over and then
Just hold your horses. Right, has everyone traced the shape and the centre of rotation?
No.
Yes.
How do you find the centre of rotation?
It's given to you, sweetheart.
So it's always given to you?
Yes, but I'll maybe give it to you as a coordinate. So let's try and make sure while we're waiting for Madison, let's establish what coordinates would this blue cross have?
You're regular.
Oh, I apologise.
Negative 1.
The blue one.
Negative.
It'll be positive.
Yeah. No, it would be 0, 0.
Negative.
It would be 5. No, 0, 1, 0, 0. 0, 5. 0, 5. 0, 5. 0, 5. No, 0, negative 5. 0, negative 5.
0, 0, 5.
0, 0, 5.
Positive is up and 0, 5 then.
Okay, 0, 5 is here.
What? Yes, 0, negative 5.
0,
0.
Thank you, Fasika. You said it, then you changed your mind. I was all ready to say yes, Fasika, and then she was like, 0, 5. Right, remember the first value tells you your horizontal movement from here, okay? So the 5 told us we went 5 across, and the 0 was we didn't go up and down at all, okay? This is the coordinate 5, 0. Because that's how we plot coordinates. 5 goes on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. It's how we plot any coordinate. It's not
Five
necessarily-
becomes because they haven't labeled the grid now, so
No,
you're just counting the box.
Up and to the
Negative
right.
numbers would be over here. Madison, you don't remember that coordinate? You do remember that coordinate? Okay. Right, so here's our blue coordinate. That's our centre of rotation. So we will trace it. Now, could you place your tracing paper back on, please? And have it sitting as it was. Alright, now, from your centre of rotation, can you please just draw an arrow at the top of your tracing paper, just pointing up? It doesn't matter how long, it doesn't matter if it's straight, just an arrow pointing up.
Can we do that on the tracing paper?
On the tracing paper, yeah. Now, we're going to rotate this shape, or what should we do? Okay? We're going to rotate it 90 degrees anti-clockwise. Okay, so we're going to rotate it 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So you're going to do that by holding your pencil on your centre of rotation as firmly as you can without breaking your pencil going through the tracing paper. Now, if we're going 90 degrees anti-clockwise, where is your arrow going to end up pointing? Sarah? Over here, yes. So rotate your tracing paper so that your arrow is pointing in the direction you think it should be. Okay? 90 degrees, so your arrow should be facing that way. Yes? Now, what you're going to do is, this is the tricky part, what you're going to do is press over your triangle and hopefully you're going to see the imprint on the paper underneath it. Now, if it's a little bit off, then you need to be aware that I can see all of my lines here are on actual grids, so when you redraw your shape, your new shape should be all on actual grids, not in the middle of a square. So when you lift it, so go up, press hard, and then you lift your tracing paper up, and you should be able to see imprint underneath.
What about the X's?
The X shouldn't have moved.
No, the other, what about
No, the other one, because it's just a bit, I just want to make sure that you can fit it on your tracing paper. What do you mean there's no imprint? Well, then you don't press very hard then.
No, I do. I just put the dots and put it back in the same paper.
Now what I want to do is to rotate exactly the same direction and exactly the same angle, but using a different centre of enlargement. So this time we're going to use the red centre of enlargement. So the same angle, the same direction, and this time you're going to be using the red cross. Okay? So you're going to do just the same as we did before. So you're going to make, the tracing's already done. You're just going to, okay, so hopefully you've seen from doing this that the centre, where the centre of rotation is, makes a big difference to where your answer is going to be, yes? So it's really, really important that you pay attention to the centre of rotation and you don't just use any random point. Okay, so the next page I think just describes what we've just done. So it tells us how to use the tracing paper. Okay? So they're just instructions. So as a reminder, you've got your tracing paper, you mark on the centre of rotation, mark your arrow, and then you decide which direction you're going and where you want your arrows to end up. Okay? So let's try with these two. So this is where using your tracing paper economically is important. Now, this one says rotate triangle ABC 90 degrees clockwise about centre -2, 0. Give the coordinates of the image point B dash. Excuse me, I think we talked about this the other day. That when we draw our image, this one was labelled A, B, C. We would label our image with what letters? A dash, B dash, C dash. Good. Okay. So, firstly, they've told us that the centre of rotation is at -2, 0. We need to find that coordinate. Where's the coordinate -2, 0? Georgie? Here?
No,
Here? Is that it? Everyone agree? Okay, that's the coordinate -2, 0. So that's going to be our centre of rotation. So first things first, you have to show that coordinate on your paper. Then you're going to use your tracing paper, and you're going to trace both the centre and the shape. You're then going to, on your tracing paper, draw an arrow up. And we're rotating 90 degrees clockwise. So where do we want our arrow to point this time? To the right, because we're going clockwise. So we're going to wait for our arrow to point to the right, and it's 90 degrees, and then we're going to redraw our shape. Lovely. All right, okay, so whilst I haven't got the image on there, B dash would have gone to the coordinates 2, -3, 2, -3. Now, the next one. The next one is not going to be very common for you at this stage. I thought we'd just have a go at one of them to see how we did, but do not panic if this is a bit stressful. So it says, fully describe the single transformation from the triangle ABC to its image. So ABC is the blue one. You can all see that, yes? The image is the green one. So we have to establish, what do we think has happened to the blue one? And it says transformation. So we've got to decide, has it been a translation? So has the shape just been picked up and moved? Has it been reflected? Has it been rotated? Good. Well, no, actually, this one has just been rotated. Now, the reason I said it's just been rotated is because the secret says single transformation. So you're only allowed to do one thing to it. So this one, because we can see it's kind of spun round, we know that's been a rotation, yes? So we say it's been rotated. Which one's the original? The blue one's the blue one. So the transformation is rotation or rotated. Now, once we've told them it's a rotation, which information do we need to know in order to rotate something? We had to know 2 pieces of information. What do we need to know? Sarah?
How it is rotated?
Yes. What do you mean by how?
Where the X is.
Where that no X represented the, what's it called?
Angle.
But that was the X. But we do need to know the angle of rotation. The center, yes. So you've given us both the information we need. We need to establish what the angle was, and we need to know what the center was. Okay? So they're the pieces of information we need to find. Now, to establish the angle of rotation, Do you think, now, 99% of the time, I won't say 100, but I'm going to go with 99. It's going to be 90, 180, or 270. Okay? So it's going to be in quarters. So it's not going to be anything crazy. So that would be 390. Yeah. Or in other words, 90 the other way. Okay?
Even for our beats, it's not negative, make it hard.
And it might make a lot, but you're less likely to have rotation than
It's 90.
Right, okay, so girls, now,
Can you pay attention?
so we need to establish what's our angle of rotation here. What do we think? How much is it rotating? Is it on 90 or 180? 90. Okay, so we're going with 90 degrees. And what was the other piece of information we had to say? 90 degrees, which direction? So was it 90 degrees? So we're going 90 degrees anti-clockwise. You need to know your clockwise and anti-clockwise, young lady. It's going to be...
Oh, sorry, I
And
thought
you
you
can
were
go.
the one was the original. Sorry. This is clockwise, this is
So
anti-clockwise.
as Brenda said, clockwise is the way the clock is labelled, yes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. Now we need to learn the sense. Now this is hard, okay? Now there is a fancy pants way of finding the centre of rotation, but we are not going to go fancy pants because even in year 11, I don't bother going fancy pants. I feel that it's easier to do what we're going to do next. And I want you to guess. So, how do we guess? Well, you're going to trace your blue shape on your tracing paper. Okay, so trace your blue shape on your tracing paper. What did I say, sweetheart?
Probably wouldn't.
Then I was asked for a GCSE. So what happens in the GCSE exam? You ask for something. Because we don't give it to you. Because you might not need it. If you think you need it, yes.
Miss Harrison, what theory of rotations find in real life?
And not many things. We go to some kind of artistic thing probably, but we have to remember that we're learning maths for lots and lots of professions. And it may be, darling, I'm in a conversation. Sorry. So it may be that you use it, it may not be, but you still learn it. According to you, learn all these skills. Excellent. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to, once we've traced it, we're going to guess. And so you're going to hold your pen down on a point. So say I chose the point here, -2, 0. Oh, is that the right one?
No.
Okay, good. I'm going to twist my paper 90 degrees anti-clockwise. Does your triangle sit on top of the green one?
No.
So that was a bad choice. So now you're going to choose a different one. Okay? Oh, what about -4? So you're going to keep guessing until we find the right one. And do not shout it out because I want everyone to be able to do this. So ladies, so it's not an easy task, is it? And you could be super lucky and find it first up. Now, this is a kind of test technique for you. If your question is one of these, what, is there a question already? So no, I'm going to answer it again. Right? Behind. So if you're doing this kind of question in an exam, you would be given 3 marks for it. You'd be given 1 for telling me it was a rotation, 2 for telling me the angle and direction. The 3rd mark would be telling me where the centre was. Now, we generally have a rule. Do you know what the rule is? 1 mark of your test should take you maximum 1 minute. Okay? So if you've taken longer than a minute to guess where your centre is, you should leave it, move on, finish the test, and then come back to it. If you don't get it, how many marks have you lost? Just 1 mark. Okay? So it's not going to be worth spending 20 minutes and then not finishing the test just to try and find the centre of rotation. Do you all hear that? Do you all understand what I'm saying to you? Yes? So please, 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 if you have one of these, do not spend a long time. And as I say, sometimes if you are more visually inclined, you can sometimes get the feeling quickly. And you might be like, whoa, I got it straight away. Yes, awesome. If it's not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make you a worse person. It means that you just need to try a few more points. Okay? Sarah did have her hand up first of all. Sarah? Is that what we all found?
Yes.
-2, -1.